Hey guys, Wood with Blue Collar Talent Scouts. Listen, just wanted to take a couple minutes, talk to you about another way that you really need to think in terms of retaining your people. There's that old cliche, you've probably heard it, I know I've heard it forever, that people don't leave companies, they leave people and they leave cultures. So if that's the case and you're in management, you're an owner, you're in a position of leadership, your responsibility is to build rapport with your people, build loyalty with your people to the point they don't want to leave you. They trust you, they respect you, they feel like you look out for them as well. And one of the ways that that happens is through appreciation. There are opportunities all the time to show some appreciation to your people. And I want to distinguish here recognition versus appreciation, because recognition usually is tied to something that a person can do. Hey, they've got the highest revenue for the month. They've got the highest average ticket. They've got the lowest number of callbacks, something along those lines. But here's the key. You have other guys that may never win that award. In fact, I would be willing to bet that you've probably got maybe 3-4 guys that over the course of a year win that award when you go for the ones that you judge based on KPIs and give out that it's the same guys. So you've got other guys who may not be 100% performers, but they're there all the time. They're steady eddies. They show up, they do their job, they clock in on time, and they don't turn down that last job. They'll run whatever calls you need. That's important. You got to have those guys, because no team can be a team of all-stars and be able to cover everything. Those top performers a lot of times know that they're in a position to demand a little bit different treatment, a little bit more, a little bit more breaks or something like that. So at that point, keep in mind, you've got the opportunity to build rapport. Now, there's some ways you can do that, and there's some ways that with systems you can actually kind of blow things up the wrong way. So I've got a story, again, stories from my past. I worked in the trades for about 16 years, worked with another blue-collar company in landscaping for a few years, and then in high-tech manufacturing, all in HR roles. And so I heard these stories, I saw these things, and I used them as examples when I would train managers with those companies. One of the things here, a story about Big Jim. The company I worked for, they installed a recognition process, our program where they were going to highlight people's anniversary dates, first year, third year, fifth year, 10th year, 15th year, and so on. Actually had one gentleman with the company who ended up with a 45-year certificate, of appreciation. And so those things were typically a big deal. I saw some great managers actually turn around, make a big deal about those, highlight contributions that guys had made, and that was a good thing. Guys were all excited about it when they got that certificate. I saw guys who told me they'd actually had it framed in their house. The other side to it is there's times where you can take those kind of situations and you can blow them up in a way that's not so good. Take, for example, the example of a gentleman I'll call Big Jim. Big Jim worked for the company 12 years when the company installed this program. He immediately was eligible for a 10-year certificate. He was someone who traveled a good bit for the business, and so he came back to the shop on a Friday, his home office, and one of his coworkers pulled him aside, and the boss was out, the boss was traveling something, and the boss had just given the certificate to one of his other coworkers, and told him, give this to Big Jim, make sure you get a picture with him, okay? So coworker pulls him aside and says, hey, boss said to give you this, make sure get a picture, let's stand in front of this wall, it's got a logo on it, and let's do it that way. If you're Big Jim at that point, what are you thinking? I can tell you what Big Jim was thinking, because he told me about it. He chewed on me for about 45 minutes about the fact that he did everything he was asked. He was an outstanding performer. I think he maybe missed 2 days of work over the prior 5 years. And he was the kind of guy that never said no when it came to, hey, look, we need you to go do this. So I knew the contribution Big Jim made. Here's the thing. He actually told me straight up, he says, listen, if that's the way they're going to treat this, he says, I threw that thing in the trash. If they don't respect what I do enough to do it the right way, why should I keep doing it? You've got the opportunity every day to say thank you to a guy, not just through a formalized program, but in a multiplicity of ways. those guys who are showing up, those guys who are staying late, those guys who are handling the customer complaints. Make sure you say thank you. Make sure you tell them you appreciate them. Make sure where you can, you highlight those guys, because that will help build loyalty, and all of a sudden it won't be such a challenge to keep people, because people will, hey, there's going to be opportunities or more money somewhere else. If it's life-changing money, we get that. But the other side to it is they'll think twice, because they won't be leaving the company, they'll be leaving you. Have a great day. Look forward to talking to you again soon.